High-performing executives and professionals, successful people who are struggling with stress, pressure, overwhelm, anxiety, panic, fear, catastrophizing, maybe that's leading to sleepless nights or just not focused or your best during the day. There's one addiction that you need to break. And most of you are addicted to this. And there's one addiction you need to break before you bring your mind to a healthier place. And in this video, I'm going to show you what that addiction is and give you some tools to break it. Who am I and why should you listen to me? If this is your first time here, I'm Coach Mike Basvick. I'm the founder and creator of the Anxiety-Free Executive Program. And every day of my life for the last 18 years, I've helped folks like you, high performers, out of anxiety, stress, depression, overwhelm, burnout, fatigue, fear, imposter syndrome, all that stuff that's keeping them from being their best or keeping you from enjoying the life that you've built, right? Successful life. And we don't distract it. We don't medicate it. We eliminate it. And we do so by retraining the mind, reconditioning the mind to operate at peak efficiency. And that's all I do every single day in my life. And unlike most of what's out there, I take a different approach to things. And I teach people exactly what the mind is, how the mind works, and how we bring the mind to peak efficiency. So that's what all of these recordings and episodes are about. So if you like it, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and you'll make sure you get notifications when there's a new video out there, and share it with other high-performing professionals, executives that might need my help. So let's jump into it. So what's the addiction, right? What's the addiction? The things people are addicted to that are high performers that are keeping them stuck. It's your current circumstances, okay? And so the things that you have going on in your life. So let me back up a second and show you what the mind is first. And I'm just going to give you a little brief overview of what the mind is. The mind is essentially a recording device and is taking feedback and input every day of your life from you. And so the experiences you have, the environment you grew up in, mom's personality, dad's personality, the neighborhood you grew up in, the geographical region you grew up in, society as a whole, you're downloading these experiences to your subconscious mind every second of every day. Now, the mind's job is to give you back what you give it. It becomes it. Think AI, right? It learns from you. So every day that you walk by, say, I love that red car, man. I love that red car, man. I love that car. And the mind's like, okay, this is the car we love. And you start developing that habit, right? So it's a red car, go Google it, whatever. So the mind is going to give you what you give it, period, end of story. Now, the mind does not have an opinion, doesn't have judgment, doesn't differentiate between positive, negative, good, or bad. Whatever you train the mind to become through your experiences and through the rumination and dwelling of those experiences, your constant focus, the mind becomes it and gives it back to you, okay? And again, the mind's only job is to serve you, and it serves you by giving you what you give it, okay? And it could be good or bad. So now you also condition yourself to be in a state of being. Now, the state of being that you're in every day is how you think, feel, and act. So there's an energetic state that you move around in every day. And it's always reflected in your thoughts. So you can't see this state of being, but you can experience it through a thought, through a word, through a feeling, through an event or something in your life. So you have to understand that your mind today is everything you've trained it to be. So everything you are today is essentially what you've experienced in your life, your personality, your strengths, your weaknesses, your likes, your passions, your dislikes, the way you talk, the way you walk, what you believe, all your beliefs, all the paradigms that you hold in this world, they're all a byproduct of what you've been trained to be. And yes, experiences in our life train us. You take the puppy and you beat that puppy, which you should never do, by the way. I've got 2 dogs laying right here, and they're blessed. Every time I get up from my desk, they think it's treat time, right? So they've been trained, to believe that. You beat that puppy whenever they, make a mistake on the floor or they do something wrong. Now that puppy, it's a wounded puppy, and it's been trained to be afraid. Your mind is no different. So, and it's not about going back and analyzing this shit, guys. You live the life you lived, and in my book, The Broken Sage, thebrokensage.com, I tell my story of where I was 20 years ago. And I was a mess 20 years ago and young adult. And I was, successful in my own right, but I felt like an imposter. I grew up in an environment that I detail in the book. It was pretty emotionally volatile, right? So my dad, vicious temper, my mom, also a temper. She did the best she could with us, but her and my dad, man, they were Hall of Fame fighters. So when I grew up in that environment, my mind was trained to be on guard all the time. I was always afraid, afraid that your father's going to come home, afraid to get my ass kicked, which happened frequently. And kids in my era, we got our ass kicked. We got the belt. We got the paddle. And I was raised Roman Catholic, so I got the hit at home. If I screwed up in school, the nuns, the priests, or the brothers would give you a crack too. It was just that we were getting hit by everybody back then. You got used to that shit, right? But it was the non-support, non-mentoring, non-empathy. So I grew up suspicious of feeling good, right? I tried to feel good. I was a happy guy, and I built some success. I was a hardworking person. That's the way I was trained to be. But I always felt like a imposter. I always felt like a fraud. Like I didn't belong at the table. I knew the warts. I knew my childhood. I knew that I was an average student, because I never could think straight in high school. I had a high IQ, but I couldn't study. I couldn't memorize. And so I got average grades, man. I was thrilled with, 4 C's and 2 B's, or even a D, 3 C's and 2 B, whatever, man. Passing, Tommy boy, right? Passed. And so that was me, man, in high school. So I was trained to be that guy. And then, so I had all the success early on in my life, but I felt like an imposter, right? And I felt like I didn't deserve it. So you would go to the opulent places. I'd go to the country club I belonged to, but I never felt I belonged. So subconsciously, I was self-sabotaging. I'd make stupid mistakes. And I would, you name it, investment, terrible. Anything to get rid of the money subconsciously, I would do it. Why? Because that's what I trained my mind to be. And I was addicted to the same things that you're probably addicted to, my circumstances. Every day I would just be stressed over this deal or that person or the relationship. I was married and 3 kids, and I was always stressed, always overwhelmed, always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Life is tough and then you die. That's the way I was taught. And so because I fed my mind that addiction every day, I was addicted to my circumstance. I was afraid to open up emails. I was afraid of Monday. I'd have Sunday afternoon dread every week. And my mind was trained that way, but I kept focusing on that garbage. And every day I'd talk about it, I'd ruminate about it, I'd obsess about it. And what's the mind's job? To give you more. So the mind, me giving my mind that, and me having the experiences in my life, put me in that state of being of what I call resistance. It doesn't feel good. The anxiety, the stress, the fear, the catastrophizing, the overwhelm. So every day I would focus on that, but I wouldn't just focus on it. I would talk about it. I would obsess about it. I'd go home and talk about my day and the stressors and things. And while I'm creating success, I was still a mess. And then I had some physical stuff happening. I had tingling in my fingers that would come up into my arm, into my face. And every day I felt like I was having a stroke. I'm in my 30s. I'd work out 6 days a week. I was a weightlifter, and so I was strong and in shape and in decent shape. I was never jacked and ripped like some of those six-pack guys, but I was in good shape. And I was strong, and I never felt healthy. I felt I was having a heart attack or a stroke every day. And I'd go to doctor's offices repeatedly, and they would say, Mike, you're fine. Look at your heart's healthy. I do stress tests. You're a horse. And they were right, but I didn't feel it because my mind kept giving me what I kept giving it. So I'd constantly focus on the problem, my health. I'd have panic attacks. I was always on edge. And people that know me now that didn't know me then, they can't believe that was me. When my life fell apart 20-something years ago, 21, 22 years ago, they knew me. They're hard to believe that I'm this guy now. And, but people that never knew me to have anxiety and things, or they can't believe that was me, but it was me. But my addiction was my circumstances. My addiction was my results. My addiction was never my vision of what I wanted. I would think about that stuff, but I was always consumed with the stuff that you're probably consumed with. The project at hand, the family, the schedule, never being able to stay present, mind racing, not sleeping full at night, waking up, obsessing about the deadline, the project, the deal you're trying to close, or what may go wrong. I hope I don't make a bad decision. I hope I don't, lose everything. I hope the bottom is, I hope I don't get fired. All the stuff that people in heavy resistance think of. But the more you think of that, the more you stay addicted to that, then the mind's going to give you more till it gets worse. Any one of you that has experienced this emotional turbulence getting worse over here, and it may be affecting your health or your sleep or your energy levels. You're exhausted, you're fatigued. You can't stay present with the wife, the husband, the kids, because you're always ruminating. You're always obsessing about the shit. And the more you're addicted to that stuff, the more you're going to do that. So the opportunity, like I teach my private clients, we'll talk about this stuff on a video, not today's video, but I teach my clients a process to get rid of all of that stuff that's built up over the years. I call it acceptance. And I detail in my book, we detail in our program, we handhold people through this process in our program. And it's really powerful. It's essentially training your mind, recoding it, if you will. There's an overused term in self-help, mindset, but the overused term is programming the subconscious. No one, even people that talk about reprogramming the subconscious, don't really know what it is. But the subconscious is a supercomputer. And everything you go through in your life is the software that makes that computer what it is. People speak English around the world, in this country, United States. I'm from Illinois. I've got that Chicago accent, right? You go up north of Wisconsin, Minnesota, they speak a little bit differently. Canada, even more. And we go on South Tennessee, Texas, Arkansas, they speak that southern drawl, right? And depending on where you're from, you speak differently. People that are born in England have a British accent. Australia, cool Australian accent, right? And British accents are cool too. They sound better than I do, I can promise you that. But point being, we didn't go anywhere special to learn the way we speak. We picked it up from the environment. We picked up our beliefs from our parents, from our experiences, right? Anyone that's been divorced 1, 2, 3 times, they think relationships are tough, right? And I was there because I got divorced and then I had subsequent relationships. They were tough, but I had to clear that resistance, right? That's built up over the years. I had to change and recode the subconscious. So there's always an opportunity to do that. But what you should do first is 2 things. Number 1, start focusing on what's important. I don't give a shit what your mind is throwing at you every day. Your mind is giving it to you because you gave it to your mind. It's not your current circumstance. Everyone thinks that it's the current circumstances making you what you are, making you feel and stress about what you're feeling and stressed about. That's a bullshit story. It's just not true. Because I guarantee if you have a lifetime of worry and stress, in college you were stressed about finals or a test or a thesis. Early on in a career, you're stressed about getting to where you want to be. And then when you get where you want to be, you're stressed about that. It's the mind is the cause. The state of being is the cause. What you're experiencing is the result. So you've got to stop obsessing about it, man. You've got to stop ruminating about it. You have to stop being addicted to it. The inner world, life is an inside job. The inner world is creating this outer world, whether it's creating your behavior and the way you show up in this world or attracting it. But whatever you focus on, period, end of story, is going to show up in your life more and more and more. So when you're focused on your crap, your to-do list and everything, it has nothing to do with that stuff. I know you think it does. It doesn't. I've been doing this a long time, and I've helped thousands of people get out of that space. And once I do, the inner world's all that matters. And that's what I teach my clients. And once you master, you want to transform your life, you have to transform and change your mind. And a lot of the conditioning you went through is good, right? Or else you wouldn't be productive and motivated and hungry and hardworking and successful. You wouldn't be there. Or maybe you have a desire to be all that. You're not there yet, but that's a good thing. But a lot of the stuff that we ingest in this world is not healthy, right? And it creates this level of discontent that we move around every day. And then we're focused on the effect. The effect is the stuff that we're stressed about. The effect are the results we're getting. And you can have a great life. Like many of my private clients, they said, Coach, I've got everything I've ever wanted. I'm just not happy. Just not fulfilled. I thought the boat would give it to me. I thought the car would give it to me. I thought the new house would give it to me. I thought the marriage would give it to me. I'm just not happy. It's because the state of being. And they say, how do I get there? So then what do? They drug themselves up. Doctors give them prescription drugs, supplement, medicate, meditate, do whatever you can, but the mind doesn't change. So you can meditate all you want, and you could supplement, and you can exercise to de-stress and all that shit, but the mind remains what you've trained it to be. If you look in the mirror every day and see what's wrong, the mind is now going to show you more things that are wrong, and then you'll literally create that. You'll either gain weight, you'll lose weight, you'll whatever. You'll look in the mirror and you just think, man, I'm not happy with what I see. Or if you beat yourself up a lot, and a lot of athletes, a lot of high performers, right? You guys beat yourself up a lot, and gals, because you're perfectionists, and if you're not perfect, and every day that you beat yourself up, then the mind says, sure, let me find more flaws. Let me take your mind to more things that you screwed up. So the mind is a thought machine. You got 2 types of thoughts. Focused thought, which I'm going to teach you here in a second. You got to focus on what's important. You got to bring your mind consciously to a healthy place. Then you've got your thoughts that come from the mind that's trained. That's 90% of your thoughts. That the thought you have at 3 in the morning, I've got to get that project done. What if I don't do this? What if I don't hire the right person? What if I make a mistake? Those thoughts are coming from a trained, conditioned mind, your state of being. And whatever state of being you are in energetically, you're going to think it. You're going to feel it. So that's the majority of the thoughts we have. So anyone that tells you to think positive, give them a crack. Don't give them a crack. I don't want you to get arrested. But, you can't think positive. You can't think your way out of a panic attack, or you're not going to positive think yourself to sleep at 3 in the morning. You're going to literally, you got to be aware of that. We're going to understand this from the state of being. We're going to change that state of being, but you've got to start focusing on what's important. Everybody has this ability. Harder for people who have a racing mind. But at any rate, right now, if I tell you, think about your favorite vacation place or a happy place in your life, and go there right now. You'll think of the island, the mountain, the hiking experience, the golf course, the lake, the ocean that resonates with you, your happy place, or maybe it's your garden, or maybe whatever. You can go there and think. And if I said, describe it to me in the next 20 seconds, you'll stay focused there. Now, you can direct your mind to that thought. That's focused thought. But the mind won't stop giving you what your state of being is until you retrain it and recondition it. So now what I would invite you to do is write a vision. You should always have a vision, but things that the outcomes you want, not like a whole bunch of goals that, but just some outcomes you want. I'm happy. I'm bringing the present. The mind doesn't know past or future. The mind only knows present. So just write a vision. I'm happy. I'm free. I'm enjoying my life. I'm in a great relationship. I'm never more connected than I ever, with my partner. I've got a wonderful family. We're surrounded by gifts and beauty. We take vacations. My business is more successful. We've reached this level of success and revenue and blah, blah, blah. Make sure you have that vision. And you've got to stay focused there as much as possible. And you've got to train your mind to be that vision, but you've also got to train your mind with what I call a microvision, is the way you want to feel every day. And you've got to change the belief and change the paradigm. Everyone has paradigms, global paradigms of what this world is, how it works, whatever you truly see the world to be. If you believe that life is tough, that's a belief in your subconscious. Your mind will show you constant examples of how life is tough. If you train your mind to repetition and focus that life is easy, guess what happens? The mind starts to make a shift. So it's really important that you start to focus on what's important and make that microvision of who you want to be moving forward. Like, we see ourselves a certain way and we describe ourselves a certain way. Let people will cringe. I cringe when people say, if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. That's a state of being. That's a paradigm. That's a belief. Or life is tough. That's a belief. Or, I don't deserve. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. And in this world, let me let you know a secret. This world conditions you to be that. So if you don't want to experience that, you've got to stop regurgitating. You got to break your addiction, and you've got to train your mind another way. So come up with a paradigm shift, or what I call a microvision of how you want to feel every day. I'm happy. I'm relaxed and calm. I'm focused. I'm present. I'm clear-minded. I'm excited. I'm confident. And start obsessively focusing and teaching your mind that as you go through your day. And when you do that, when you shift your paradigm, your beliefs will start changing. What is a belief? It's a conditioned way of thinking that we've been taught throughout our life, through our experiences and our rumination. So once the belief becomes solid in your mind, you're going to believe it. So even some of the stuff I'm saying here, you're probably like, man, this is tough. I know what he's saying. It makes sense, but it's tough. But it's tough because you believe something different, and you believe something different because that's the way you taught your mind. Now we got to change the beliefs. We got to change the paradigm. And that comes with the repetition, the same repetition of what you've been vomiting in your mind for the last year, 10 years, 20 years, whatever it's been. The mind becomes what you constantly feed it. Break the addiction to your current circumstances. They're nothing more than the effect of what you've been in your mind. The mind is the cause, state of being is the cause. What you're experiencing is the effect. Get your mind out of the gutter, out of the effect, and bring it to the cause. Understand your mind is a machine. It's an employee that will do whatever you teach it to do. Teach it the right way. Okay, that's the key. So start focusing on that vision. Start focusing on a new paradigm, new microvision, and stay obsessively there. That's it. That's one of many things that we do with our clients, but it's an important thing. So break the addiction. Okay, now if you want more, if you want to potentially even, become one of our private clients, the link, click the link below this video, I'm sure, nolimitsnation.com/book. and you'll book a breakthrough call with our team. And sometimes, rare case, you'll get me, but my team is a team of experts, the best in the world at what we do. And they'll determine, number one, can we help you? Number two, where do you want to go? What is getting in the way of your happiness, your fulfillment, your success, next level growth, whatever it is. And if we can help you, we'll tell you. We'll talk about the options we have. And if not, we'll steer you in the right direction. But book that call. It's free. It's life-changing. Every single one of our private clients, referral, my neighbor, anybody that wants our help, it starts with that breakthrough call. We've got to see if it's a good fit. We've got to see if we can help you. So book that call if you want. And then remember, like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you on the next video.